Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Give me 1 second. Let me start sharing my screen first.
okay.
Security, and then they take you to the hotel, you check in.
Oh, John, John. I know, I think I see something about this. What are you gonna do? I don't have no idea. Oh, you need this.
Very good. Well, we
Okay,
can-
can you verify, Scott, that you are only seeing, because I'm using two screen, one up and one down. Are you only seeing one or are you seeing two screens?
We're just doing one,
Okay, great.
Off the
Okay,
side.
all right. You can now push the record button and we are good to go.
All right, well, welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming out. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Wendy, so she's heading down the hallway now. I know several faces here. I know some of you have been on trips with us before. So this is the Portugal trip that we're doing, Portugal Discovery. We're doing it with Indus Travels, which is a company we've not used before. So we're excited to check them out. And with us, we have Saeed Parker, who's going to do the presentation for us. So Saeed, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, Wendy, all the members and community of the St. Charles Regional Chamber. On behalf of the Chamber and on behalf of Industrial, I'd like to welcome you to this webinar presentation today. And like Scott said, we are presenting to you today the Portugal trip, which is the forthcoming trip of the Chamber, going on February 24th of 2027. The reason we are doing the presentation today is to present the tour, which is titled Portugal Discovery, Cities, Coasts, and Culture, so that you, the patrons, whether you are physically present in the hall or have joined us online, learn the features, know the facts, and book this fascinating tour at a truly, truly excellent price. The price is really excellent when I'll come there. What I'm going to present to you today is some facts and knowledge on Portugal, the destination, the country where we're going. I'll present to you the tour highlights, what does it include and not include. Then I'll give you a brief narration of the entire tour from day 1 to day 9 of the tour. I will present to you, since we are doing this for the first time with the St. Charles Regional Chamber, one slide on who we are at Indus Travels, how to book and general information. We'll talk about passports, visa, health, currency, weather, some other tips like tipping and cost of meals. Then there will be a short under 2 minutes video presentation on Portugal. And this video I've selected is deliberately taken from the month of December because some people may be thinking that end of February is perhaps cold, but actually Portugal is a throughout the year destination. And this particular video has been shot entirely in the month of December in Portugal. So you can even go to Portugal where it does not snow there and the cold is bearable. It's not really good and doesn't get any cold. We will do a Q&A session at the end. For the people who are sitting in the hall, if you are far away from where the projector is and if I can't hear you, then either Scott or Wendy will read your question to me. If that question is to me, and I'll answer it. If it is something that the chamber needs to answer, then one of them will answer you. People who are online, I don't know whether you will type the question or you'll ask if your microphone is open, but we'll determine when we go there. Let's talk about some facts about Portugal as the destination. As you can see on your screen is the westernmost country in continental Europe. So on the right-hand side of the country, you have Spain here. And then you have the huge Atlantic coast on the western side. And you also have some part of the Mediterranean at the bottom where my cursor is moving. And you have some beautiful beaches, which is Lagos and Faro and some other places down there. This was also the route where when the slavery was happening, people were transported from Ghana and they were brought into Lagos with a journey, and then they were transported from here under very unbearable kind of conditions, into United States. An unfortunate history, and the Portuguese are very, very sorry today for all that they had been doing. Nonetheless, they are a beautiful people. I can vouch for them. They're very nice, humble, very hospitable people. It's a semi-presidential republic. Capital is Lisbon, where we're going to land. The population is 10 million. 81% of the country are Roman Catholics. 4% are other Christians. The official language is Portuguese, which is also a language of many, many other countries in the world, including a huge country called Brazil, for example, with their own dialect. But English is is widely spoken, especially in the touristic, areas of the country. It being the part of European Union, the currency is euro. It's a highly literate population. More than 96% of the country are literate. It covers an area which is approximately the size of area of Pennsylvania, about 80% of the size of Pennsylvania, or to be precise, is 35,556 square miles area. Seas that it has, it's the Atlantic Ocean on its western coast, left-hand side, and sorry, not Red Sea, my apologies for this typo here. And then you have part of the Mediterranean in the south, which is called the Gulf of Cadiz down here. It borders with Spain in the east. And of course, it has got a long Atlantic Ocean coast on the west. So much so that, the waves are very, very, huge, especially in the month of, the summer month when one of the city where we are going is called Nazare. It becomes a capital of the surfing for during the month of May, June, July, and so on and so forth. The natural resources of the country, and I'm just presenting this a little bit of 2 lines because this is a Chamber of Commerce presentation, so you may be interested in some trade. So the natural resources the country has is fish, forests, cork especially, iron ore, copper, zinc, tin, tungsten, silver, gold, uranium, and so on and so forth. Country's GDP is $314 billion, and its per capita income is quite reasonable, $30,500, and their growth has been registered in last year is 0.25%. Some interesting facts about the country. With cities, historic landmarks, beaches, and religious sites to offer, Portugal had 27 million visitors in 2024. Again, it's not 2019, 2024. 25, that has risen up to 32 million. I'm not yet confirmed, and that's why I did not put that figure up here. And with the exception of some pickpocket incidents, which can happen in anywhere that you go, it is ranked as the 3rd safest country by the Global Peace Index, in 2020, and it has not changed since then. As first global empire and one of the longest lived colonial power, half of the New World once belonged to Portugal. That's a fact. Half of the New World once belonged to Portugal because they were one of the, colonizing, nation. And with 236 million native Portuguese speakers, it's official language of 9 different countries. With the same borders that the country maintains, that is Portugal maintains since 1139, it is the oldest country in Europe. One country, no changes of border since 1139. And established in 1732, Bertrand Lisbon is the oldest operating bookstore in the world. It still exists. You can still go and visit it in Lisbon if you have time. It has got a huge, cork forest, presence, and they produce 70% of the cork export of the world. So much so that you will be surprised to see that a lot of things are made out of cork, and there's cork specializing shops around. They make shoes out of it, bags out of it, purses out of it, so many other decorative items that they produce out of it. You will be seeing a lot of the cork shop when you go around in Lisbon and Porto. One of the oldest universities of Europe is called the University of Coimbra. This town is something which you will visit on your way back. So you will be traveling from Lisbon up to north to Porto. On your way back, when you're going back to Lisbon, you will be visiting, you will be stopping in this city, though we do not have time to enter into the university because it's a huge university, but we will make a stop over there on the way back. With a 7.6 million miles long Vasco da Gama Bridge in Lisbon is the second longest bridge in Europe. And when also you show the pictures of the bridge, it somehow resembles the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Also, 497 miles coastline. It's one of the world's top surfers, spot, which is Nazare. And I'll speak about it when I'll come to that slide. And Lisbon, the capital city, which is a beautiful, thriving city today, one of the best of Europe, was once hit by most powerful earthquakes in European history with a 9 magnitude on the Richter scale. But the city has been rebuilt. It's called the City of Seven Hills today. Um, Fado music is an intangible Portuguese cultural heritage. It originated in Lisbon, but we have got you an optional, activity in Porto. If you'd like to do it, I will present it to you when I will go to that slide. And like I said in my introduction of Portugal, though they were heavily involved in the Atlantic slave trade, it was the first colonial power to abolish slavery. And like I said before, that they feel very, very sorry about what was done once upon a time in history. Some of the must-try Portuguese food is, of course, because have a huge, coastline. So there are a lot of seafood, and they have a lot of sardines for that matter. And as a matter of fact, you will see, along with the cork shop, you will see a lot of shop. You will wonder from outside, and look into the window, what is all this, glittering stuff that you're seeing all around? You'll see from wall to wall and from roof to bottom to the roof, all different types of sardines which have been packed. So they do a lot of sardine. They have codfish. So they do something which is called bacalhau, Portuguese codfish. They have caldo verde soup. They have grilled sardines. They have something which is called pastel de nata, which is nothing but a pastry. The difference is that it's filled with custard, and that's a specialty of Portugal. Even if you go to a Portuguese bakery here in United States and Americas, you will find that pastry still available. They also make some nice French sandwich, chicken peri peri, which is Nando's. They bring the peri peri thing. It's a story which is, but I will take maybe 30 seconds explaining this to you. People assume it's Portuguese. And actually, yes, it is a Portuguese invention, but peri peri was not invented in Portugal. It was invented in Mozambique, because Mozambique also happened to be a colony of Portugal. And this particular sauce was invented by Portuguese people in Mozambique, and it was perfected by South Africa. So Nando's is a brand which belongs to South Africa, not to Mozambique, not to Portugal, and peri peri is a Portuguese sauce. That's very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so that's all about the food that we have. Portugal is known for food, of course, olives. So along with Spain, they also produce a lot of olives. Cheeses, the cheeses are beautiful. Roast meats, fishes, breads. They make some beautiful bakery items. Wine and port, and especially the world famous port, which is made in the valley of the Douro River, which goes in from from Porto, a city where we are going to go spend 2 nights over there. So River Douro, the mouth is in Porto, the city of Porto. And as you travel inside towards the Spain side, in all that valley there, they produce the port. We are not going there, but some people who stay longer time in Portugal, they go and stay a couple of nights also in that valley over there. Or if you ever do a Douro River cruise, for example, you will be passing through that valley. It's a 7 nights beautiful cruise. Maybe in future, one of those cruises the chamber may consider this. Of course, it is also very popular for the beaches, and Algarve is one of the very famous beach. It's also very popular for its architecture and design. Known for the city of Seven Hills, which is Lisbon. Porto, the city, and one of my most favorite cities of the world, is famous for its architecture and historic center. It's famous for soccer. And of course, the figure over here, everybody knows this gentleman over here. It's also popular for pastel de nata, which is the custard-filled pastry. Also known for azulejo, which is nothing but the special tile work that they do with a lot of design. And you can see where my cursor is moving. You can see a variety of designs over here, including some of the designs. They make some pictures out of inside, painting inside the design. And when people come back from Portugal, one of the souvenir that you can bring is a beautiful tile from there with a lot of designing. Also, cork and a cork item and a lot of golf courses, especially because the city does not get very cold. So when Europe really becomes very cold, a lot of people come down in Europe. They go to Portugal and they play a lot of golf in Portugal. Let's talk about our featured product, which is Portugal Discovery Cities, Coast and Culture with St. Charles Regional Chamber going on February 24th of 2027. It is going to be a 9-day tour, and with the flights, you will go from San Luis to Lisbon. From Lisbon, we'll travel by land to Obidos, Nazaré, Batala, Fatima. We'll do one night stop in Fatima. We'll continue from Fatima, going still north to Aveiro and Porto. We'll do 2 nights Porto stop, and then we'll come back from Porto back to Lisbon. On the way back, coming down south, we'll be making one stop in Coimbra. This beautiful tour of a 9-day, inclusive of the airfare, it is an incredible price of $26.99 per person on double occupancy basis. If somebody wants to stay on a single occupancy basis, that means you are not sharing your room of that 7 nights accommodation that you have with anybody, then this person will have to add a $799 on top of $26.99. So that is an incredible price. The highlights of this trip is that we are going to go into the cobblestone streets of Lisbon and try the traditional Pastel de Nata. We are going to stop in the Portuguese fishing village. So when you'll go in the month of February, it is nothing more than a lazy fishing village town that you will see. But in the month of May, June, July, there are waves that go up to 50 feet. And you can see one of the picture over here where people are standing, and this becomes the capital of the world surfing competitions. So a few places in the world where the competitions, take place. One of them is in Eastport in Indonesia, then of course Hawaii, and then Nazaré, the town of Nazaré, where we're going to make a brief stop. The waves go up to 100 feet, not even 50 feet, up to 100. So huge, really big waves that, they come in the month of June, July, and also towards the end of May. We're also going to visit the monastery of Batala, which is renowned masterpiece of the Gothic architecture. We're going to stop in a town called Aveiro, which is called the Venice of Portugal, because they have got canals in between where boats come, and this is one of the picture of the boats over here. They have typical boats which are nothing like the one in Venice, but they have their own designs. And there is one more slide which is coming. I'll explain that to you. And of course, we are going to go to Porto, which is most visited destinations in Europe. And like I told you, with a person who's been to 88 countries and thousands of cities, Porto is one of my top 5 favorite cities of the world. And of course, we are going to spend 1 hour in Fatima. We're just breaking our journey, but Fatima is a place for anybody, and especially the Catholics. It's a sanctuary of Our Lady of Fatima, which is very well known, and a lot of pilgrimage. People go specially for the pilgrimage to Fatima, and they spend some time. Your trip includes round-trip airfares from St. Louis, 7 nights accommodation on double occupancy basis at the listed hotels, which I'll present to you. Daily breakfast, arrival and departure airport transfers, private transportation by deluxe air-conditioned coaches or vehicles, all sightseeing tours in Lisbon and Porto, entrance fees as per the itinerary, service of the English-speaking guide, who will escort you when you leave Lisbon and who will stay with you until you come back to Lisbon. And then when you go to Batala, for example, there will be a special guide who will come. So this person is your escort, but he may not be an expert of the Batala or of other, areas which you're visiting. So a local guide will come for that duration of your, visit. He will show you and so on and so forth. Also air taxes and all local applicable taxes, except local city taxes in Lisbon and Porto, and fuel surcharges, which may be implemented by the airline. And, unfortunately, this is beyond our control or anybody's control. But We hope that you are not going until February next year. So we hope and pray that all this nonsense which is going on, will stop, and the world will come back to normal, and all these, fear of the airline having a fuel shortages and will have a fuel surcharge will not be applicable by the time your tickets are issued. We hope and pray this will be the time. But I'm just playing safe over here that this may be implemented by the airline. If it does, it will have to be passed on. But I can assure you that never in the history, and I'm in the airline and travel industry for more than 30 years, ever the fuel surcharge has never ever been, even during the OPEC time, in the old time ago, it has never exceeded 10% of the total airfare cost. So remember, $26.99 is not your airfare, it's your total trip. So whatever the airfare may be, so you're not looking at, if the airfare, for example, is $1,000 out of it, then you're looking at maybe $60, $70, $80 if and when it gets implemented, but I'm just making this clear for you. What does it not include is items of personal nature, tips and gratuities. Tips and gratuities is understood. What is item of personal nature? If one of you happens to, order a room service, for example, or if you have a mini bar, a mini fridge, filled with items inside your room, or if you do a laundry, all of these things is the personal nature expenses. They are not included. Tips and gratuities are not included. There are local city taxes in Porto and Lisbon, which even if you want to collect or the chamber wants to collect, we cannot. You have to pay them locally, which are currently €5, but I am saying 5 to 7 because it may increase by the time you arrive in February of 2027 per person per night, applicable in the city of Porto and Lisbon. So you're spending 4 nights in Lisbon, 2 nights in Porto. Luggage fee may apply and vary by the carrier. Again, I'm playing safe over here. The flights are not yet out for February of 2027. They will come into the system in about 31 more days from today. They will come in the system, but I will present to you what flights we're looking at in my next slide. And again, I'm playing safe over here, though we bring 99% of the time one checked in, one personal item and one cabin bag, but you never know the way the airlines are going crazy. You may have to pay for your checked in luggage. Travel insurance is not included. There is no visa fees or visa applicable to go to European Union at this point in time. But again, we have been anticipating that visa will become applicable for European Union, exactly as it has been imposed to UK. I'm sure you know that now if you want to travel to UK with a US passport, you need to have something called ETA, Electronic Travel Authority or approval, which happens in 5 minutes, does not cost you more than about $8 to $10, that if and when it happens. It is not yet implemented, but I am quite positive that by the end of this year, European Union is going to implement, the ETA for the all the passports of the world, and it will be implemented. But if and when it happens, we will keep you posted. Any other items which are not under inclusion are not part of your thing. On day one, we will be going from San Luis to Lisbon. If there was a non-stop flight, it would have taken approximately 11 hours from San Luis to Lisbon, Portugal. But like I told you, though the flights are not in the system, and given the current scenario of the airlines, cutting down on the flights, what we were able to locate in the system, though these are not definite, these are only tentatively putting, is a 2-point connection, unfortunately, going out. Though when the flights will come into the system, we will try to bring it down to 1-point connection. But when we looked into this today, we found out that there will be a 2-point connection on the way out. Coming back, there will be a 1-point connection should we maintain the Delta flights which are in front of you in the screen. And those flights are departing at 4:13 p.m. on February the 24th on Delta 4825, brings you in JFK at 7:52 p.m., departs JFK at 10:30 p.m., arrive next day in Paris Charles de Gaulle at 12:15, and then you take an Air France at 1:30 p.m., arrive in Lisbon at 3:10 p.m. on February the 25th. Coming back on March the 4th, it'll be Delta 273 from Lisbon to JFK, to New York JFK, 10 a.m. in the morning departure, arrival 13:20, which is 1:20 p.m. the same day on March the 4th, connect at 3:10 p.m. from JFK and brings you back in St. Louis on Delta 4715 at 5:06 p.m. Again, tentative. We do not know. We'll let you know in about 35, 40 days, or when some reasonable number of bookings will come through. We are doing our first promotional trip. There are no bookings system, but we guarantee you that whenever we'll give you the airline, we will give you the best and we'll give you the full service airline. That is what we always do. On day 2, you'll arrive in Lisbon. You'll be received by a representative with a ply card, which will say St. Charles Regional Chamber. You will be received and you will be transferred and you will check in into your hotel on day 2, and the rest of the afternoon or evening rather will be free. The hotel that you're going to stay for 4 nights, 2 nights in the beginning, which is the night of day 2 and the night of day 3. And again, when you come back from Porto, the night of day 7 and the night of day 8 will be Hotel Marquis de Pombal in Lisbon. It's a centrally located, beautifully located hotel. As you can see where my cursor is moving. This is the coastline. This is actually, the main square of the city, and your hotel is right over there. Here is an external picture, the bar, the reception area here, and one of the bedroom. I'm not saying this is going to be your bedroom, but one of the bedroom of the hotel. And though it is a 4-star hotel, out of 2,300 Google reviews, it has earned itself a 4.4 star rating, which brings it into the excellent category. So you're home for 4 nights, a 4-star hotel with an excellent rating on Google review out of 2,300 Google reviews. On day 3, you will have breakfast and you will do a tour of the beautiful city of Lisbon. I will not read through the brochure because you can do that. I'm sure the chamber has placed, the brochure and the itinerary on its website. You can also get the copy of the brochure from them. Or when you will go to make a booking, or even if you do not want to make a booking, when you just want to look at it, the site of the booking, which I'll show you towards the end of my presentation, you'll be able to read all these details. So I'll save your valuable time in not reading through. You can read, but you can be rest assured that we'll do everything which is worth seeing in Lisbon during our trip. So that is going to be a day 3. This trip will happen in the morning. In the afternoon, some more pictures over here of the same tour which we'll be doing. This is in the background. You can see that Golden Gate looking kind of bridge over here. That is the second longest, bridge in Europe over here. That's near the coast over here. And some more pictures of, what you will see in the Lisbon. There is the first optional tour coming in my next slide. If you do not take that optional tour, let me go and present to you that optional tour first. So around 2 p.m. or between 2 or 3 p.m., your guide will let you know. Your first optional tour is called the Gastronomic and Cultural Tour, which is a tapa testing tour. So you will be taken to 10 different places. You need to keep a lot of space in your stomach, and you'll be doing testing along with some drinks also. And we need minimum 4 people for this trip to happen at this cost. $195 is the cost of this, which will include your pickup and drop off back into your hotel. So that is your first optional tour. If you did not do it, then here is a picture of a market which is called Time Out Market Lisbon. In my personal opinion, this is a not to miss area. Why? Because it is a gastronomic hub. Features 40 plus stalls representing the best of Lisbon, handpicked by Time Out journalists and local experts. It has got at least 4 to 5 Michelin-starred accessibility, which offers affordable, high-quality dishes from world-renowned Portuguese chefs like Henrique Pessoa and Alexandra Silva. And also, it has got a variety. So it's a non-stop location. to sample diverse traditional flavors, including the bacalas and the suckling pork and the premium local cheeses and all that, you know. Also, it is housed in the historic Mercado Ribera. It's dating back to 1882 building, blending in 19th century architecture. And it is a place to where a lot of Lisbon localites, you know, go for socializing. So they go in the evening. It also got a lot of bars around there. I think they've got about 10 to 15 different, you know, beautiful bars. And so one area where you go socialize. But of course, it is a crowded place. If you're a person who's looking for a, you know, candlelight type of dinner, this is not meant for you. But if you want to have a night out and some loud music, not a music, but a, you know, some loud kind of, and mind you that Spanish and Portuguese are loud people. They speak, you know, quite loud over there. So it'll be a noisy place, but it's a place worth going. If you did not take that optional tour in the next one, which is this one, I very highly recommend. It is only 1.7 miles from your hotel, and an Uber will take you in about 10 minutes. So you're not looking at more than 10 to 12 euros, maybe 15 euros. And you can easily share the Uber if you like, 3, 4 of you, if you'd like to go, and you can share the cost. And I recommend that you go and visit that if you did not take the TAPA testing, because if you took the TAPA testing, then your stomach is full and you'll not be able to eat unless we go like 10 in the night or something. On day 4, after breakfast, we will depart northward, and we will be going first to the town of Obidos, a small town, but a beautiful place. A beautiful place, cobblestone again here, as you can see. Traditional Portuguese, typical European place. You can see it's like a village kind of thing, which is surrounded by, you know, a fort. You can even go on top of some of the walls, though some walls are broken, but can still go up there. And you will find, you know, smells of beautiful bakery items, and you will not be able to stop yourself in buying, you know, one or two, or entering with the cheese and the bakery and typical Portuguese, and a lot of, you know, eateries and shopping and small lanes where there are no cars going. You will be only walking. It's a beautiful place. Obidos, we'll do this. We'll take our stop, and then we'll go to the next town, which is Nazare. And I've already spoken to you about Nazare, which will be more like a lazy fishing town at this point in time when you'll go. But we'll make our stop. From Nazare, we will go to Batala, which is the monastery. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Monastery over there. And here are the pictures of the monastery, 1, 2, and 3. And then from Batala, we will arrive in Fatima late evening, and we will sleep in Fatima for one night. So we are not doing the tour of Fatima, but of course, you know, if you want to go into the what do you call, the cathedral or the church of the Fatima, you are free because they are open and you can go. But we are making our stop here just to rest, so that, you know, we are not having a very long day. Next day, and the one night that you're staying in the Fatima is going to be you're going to be staying in a hotel called Hotel Santa Maria Fatima. Again, it's a 4-star hotel. You can see the external picture. One of the bedrooms over there, they have a swimming pool, the breakfast area. And, you know, since it's a small town, the location does not matter, but it's anyhow centrally located. Again, out of 2,200 Google reviews, it has earned itself a 4.5-star rating. So you're home for one night in there. Next day morning, before we start and leave the time of Fatima, you will be allowed some time officially to go into Fatima, which is one of the largest centers of Mariano worship. You will go and explore the city on your own if you like. Get the chance to visit the Algestrel, which is the hamlet located in the outskirts of Fatima. And it is the birthplace, you know, it says that Jesus appeared to 3 girls from the village, were there, and then it turned into a very, very important place from the Catholics' viewpoint. So I will again not take your time in, describing a lot about Fatima to you. After you are done with that, we will continue northward, and the first stop we'll make before we arrive in Porto will be Aveiro. So Aveiro is a small town again, where they have all these canals over there, and these styles of boats where my cursor is moving. And you can pay cash for these small fees. It's not included in your tour, but you can do, because the coach will wait for you if you want to do. And I would say that you should, take this this small tour. It'll take you around in the canal over there. They produce a lot of salt in one side of it, so it'll show you, take you till the end and it'll bring you back in a small tour. After you're done with this, we will arrive finally in Porto, which is going to be a home for 2 nights. And like I've been praising Porto from, ever since I started, beautiful town. We are staying 2 nights at the Access Porto Business and Spa Hotel. Again, a 4-star. Again, a 4.3 out of 5-star rating from almost 3,000 Google reviews. And you can see the external picture, one of the bedroom, the breakfast, the swimming pool, which is the in-house swimming pool, and the bar. So it tells you the quality of the hotels that you're going to stay for 2 nights in Porto. On day 6, we will be doing after breakfast the city tour of Porto, a beautiful, beautiful city on Douro River. And here is the picture of the Douro River. You can even, a river cruise or a river trip is not included. But once you're done with the official tour, if you want to do anything, it's fine. You can even go, you can see this beautiful bridge up here on the right where my cursor is moving. And on this side over here, these are the teleferiques. So you can go to the teleferique down here. The cable car will take you to the level of the bridge, and then you can walk the bridge on the other side of the street. You have a lot of eateries and cafes and roadside, places where you can eat. Very genuine, original Portuguese city. I can say, in a way, this is like how Lisbon not Lisbon, Madrid, and was the second largest city in Spain. Okay, I'm forgetting. I'll get the name. Anyhow, it is a town which is, not to miss, and we're going to spend 2 nights over there. On this night, you have your second optional tour, which is the Heritage Night with Fado music, Fado cultural show, and dinner. $125 per person for the dinner and the music and the show. We require 2 persons to make this happen. And if you are interested in culture of a country, then this is recommended that you should do and take it. Again, you can read the details in the brochure. I want to keep the presentation to like 45, 50 minutes, so we can answer some of your questions. On day 7, we will check out after the breakfast and we'll start going north again. And this time we are only going to stop at one place in Coimbra. Coimbra is the place where I told you one of the oldest universities of Europe, and it's a very, very impressive campus. So, when you go there, you will see that all the university students, they actually wear, the girls wear skirts and, and pants or skirts and jackets on top. And the boys also wear nice suit and ties and things like that. It gives you a feeling of something like Harry Potter, when you go to the institution. It's very impressive university and one of the top universities of Europe also. Remember, Portugal is a country of 97% literacy. So we do not have time again to enter inside, but we will spend some time. You will be able to see through this ground. You will be able to go into the areas, you will see a couple of rooms here and there, but there is no time to do the entire university because it's a huge complex. It's not possible even if you stayed there a whole day. So we'll do this Coimbra, and then we will move on. We'll arrive back into Lisbon. When we come into Lisbon, we'll be staying at the same hotel, which I presented to you in my slides earlier, 4 nights of the accommodation, which is called Hotel Pombal, Marquês de Pombal in this downtown. And then on day 8, you have either the whole day at leisure. Remember, Lisbon is a beautiful and a big city. There's a lot for you to do. Or if you want to do, we are offering you on this day 2 optional tours. So one optional tour, which is my recommendation, is a half-day tour to the coastal city of Sintra, Caicos, and Estoril Coast. And some of these pictures which appear over here, it's worth going there. So you see one of the yellow building, which is one of the emblem or one of the known buildings of Portugal. You see, that is also called the Sintra Castle, but that is a modern castle. What we are including is the old original castle, which is like 600 years old, of which the pictures appears over here. So this will be included in your tour, and I very highly recommend that you do this tour. If your morning is still free, if you decided to do this tour, you'll be picked up around 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and you'll be back by 7-ish, 7:38 at the best, So you still have the night or the evening available when you come back to Lisbon. Lisbon does not sleep early. So, even if you took the trip and you come back, you still have the nightlife. By the time you come back, you can, ask the coach to leave you in downtown, or you are in downtown, and then you can do whatever you want to do. That's your first optional tour. For $150, a half-day tour to the Sintra, Caicos, and the Astral Coast. Or the next one is a boat tour with drinks. And this is how it looks. You can see the bridge in the background, and it gives you some drinks and some snacks over there. $125 per person. Again, your pickup and drop off is included. And that is your second and last optional tour. So we offered you a tapa testing in Lisbon. We offered you a fado night with the dinner in Porto. We offered you a half-day city tour to the Sintra. And then this is the fourth and last final optional tour, which is the boat tour with the drinks, and snacks in Lisbon itself. On day 9, of course, you will be transferred to the airport, Lisbon airport, and then you will fly back into St. Louis with your transfer connection. So what did we cover? We are going to go from St. Louis to Lisbon, which is down here. You can see. From Lisbon, we will go to Obidos, Nazaré, Batala, Coimbra, Aveiro, and Porto. So all the way from here, you can see, going up to Porto. We'll spend 2 nights in Porto. We'll spend 1 night in Fatima. We'll break our journey in Fatima. And then we'll arrive in Porto and spend 2 nights there. Then we will come back again from Porto back into Lisbon with 1 stop in Coimbra. And then we will be spending 2 nights in Lisbon. Now, let me tell you that if you went nonstop from Lisbon to Porto without traffic, the total distance is not more than 3 to 3.5 hours, depending on traffic. So there is no point in time that you're sitting for long, painful hours into the coach. Every 1 hour, 1.5 hour, you're getting down and doing something and you're getting back into it. There are also trains go, for example, between Porto and Lisbon. They also take about 3 hours, with 3-4 stops on between over there. So all I'm trying to tell you over here that if we did all this nonstop, went all the way, down from here, go up and come back, it's only 439 miles and can be done in 8 hours and 15 minutes, which is broken into so many stops in between. So it's a comfortable journey. And remember that this is going to be a private tour with a private coach and a private guide. So if Scott or Wendy goes with you, who will be your national group leaders over there, if you want to make a lunch stop at a particular time, if you want to have a bathroom stop somewhere, the guide is your friend and he will comply as far as you're not asking to extend his hours, because they're paid by hours. Let's talk about who we are in Indus Travel. So we are celebrating, you've been seeing on my slides, that we are 25 years of wonder, and wow. So we are celebrating our 25 years in business, established back in 2001. And we are the second company in North America who started doing the chamber trips 15 years ago. So there was one company before us. We came into doing the chamber trips in 15 years ago. So we are talking about 2017, we started doing, or 16, we started doing this trip. 2010, we started doing the chamber trips. And just to give an idea, we did 253 chamber tours alone in 2025, touch wood, and the business is looking even better in 26, despite all the political situation that's going on in the world. So we are a tour group company. We do a variety of group tours. In addition to the chambers, we also do church and faith-based tours. We do some active tours for yogas. We do universities and alumni tours and things of the sort. It's a privately owned independent business, and therefore a lot of decisions will be quick. For example, if one of you wants to be upgraded to a business class, or somebody wants to stay behind after the tour has happened and wants to go and you extend your tour into Spain, for example, all these decisions will be very quick. And I'm going to introduce your tour coordinator in my next slide. So this tour coordinator will have a toll-free number and email address, will be a person who will, you can jump back to. Also expert advice from a very, very knowledgeable team. So everybody in our company, right from the product who go and choose this hotel, put the stores together, operations, the air team, the sales team, and the group tours, which is us. Excuse me. We all come with a lot of background, and I can tell you about myself. I'm in the airline and travel industry for more than 30 years. I've been to 88 countries, thousands of cities that I've lost the count. I have worked with some of the best airlines of the world in 8 different regions of the world as area and regional manager. And I work with Indus Travels for last 7 years as senior regional manager. I look after 22 states in the United States. It's a genuine industry recognized consumer protection that we have in the company. On Triple B, we have an A plus rating, and also one of Google's partner, which is an independent review site called reviews.io. They keep an eye on our rating and ranking, and we hang between 4.6 to 4.8 out of 5 star, which brings us again into the excellent category, both the product and the service delivery wise. So that's about us. How do you book this trip? You book online. And if I bring my cursor, if I click over here, you can see it's a live site. That is your online booking link, which is placed by the chamber on their site. So you can go there and you can click there and you will be able to go and see. Even before you book, you will be able to check out the entire trip, like I told you. So this is how the first page looks. Portugal Discovery with St. Charles Regional Chamber, overview of the trip, tour highlights, inclusion, all that. If you will go, for example, on this menu over here, price and dates, show you price and dates. When you click on the itinerary, it will show you day by day itinerary and description. When you click on accommodation, it'll show you all the hotels that are, that are included with multiple pictures of the hotels. And there is some very interesting book before you go kind of, information for what, for example, what to shop, what is the weather like, what to tip and things of this, what to eat and things like that. So very interesting site. So you should go and visit the site. Even if you're not booking, go and have a look at it. Also at the bottom of the brochure, where Scott's picture appears on the left, on the right hand side, there's a QR code. If you scan the QR code, it will also take you to the same booking web link over there. Once you go to the link, and when you want to make a booking, it will ask you to create your login and password, which will be known to you. If you forgot it, you will have to go and say, I forgot the password, and then it'll, reinstate your password with whatever. You'll be able to see full details of the tour. And then you will be able to enter your personal details like your name, your date of birth, and also upload your passport copies. Passport copies will be ultimately required, though it is not a must at the time of booking. So you can go ahead and make a booking today, but the passport copy ultimately will be required for you to be uploaded in the system. And it will also offer you, actually travel insurance on the optional basis. So it is, it'll look like this: travel protection. And, I want to purchase, this type, which is the True North trip protection. And then there is one more type, which is slightly higher than this one is higher, this one is lower. It depends on your age, if you have any existing conditions and things like that, or you can say, sorry, I do not, want to purchase the travel insurance, but if you took this, it will include, in addition to travel insurance. So what is travel insurance? Travel insurance is something which comes into effect after you start traveling. So if you start traveling, if your baggage is delayed, or if your baggage is lost, if you have to visit a pharmacy, a doctor, or God forbid, a hospital, all that is covered by travel insurance. Trip interruption is something which is before you travel, for reasons which are covered by the underwriter. If you're unable to travel, for example, somebody in your family got ill, you broke your arm or leg, or any other reason for which you are not able to travel, minus your premium, the rest of the money will reimburse to you. And this comes to you automatically when you're making the, again, it's optional. You want to take it, you can take it. Otherwise, you can make your own arrangements for the insurance. Insurance, not a must to go, but it's highly recommended. When you'll arrive at the final page, you will have 3 options: to pay full money, pay the deposit of $500, and pay the balance by not August. I'm so sorry, all this errors over here. By October 24th of 2026. That's 120 days. I will correct all this when I will send the PDF to the chamber. So October 24th, 120 days before departure, your tickets have to be issued. This restriction is coming from $500 deposit, and then your final payment on October 24th of 2026. There is no second payment over there. And you will see that there is something which is called also pay monthly. It's an outside company. It is something which is not connected. It's exactly when you go to Home Depot, and if you want to buy big appliances, there's a finance company available which will make your own credit approval based on your credit. Same way, if you will click the pay monthly, it will exit from our website, will take you to FlexPay, and they will evaluate you whether or not you qualify, and then they will pay us, and you can make the family payments, monthly payments to them. The currency in Portugal is euros. Because of the war, US dollar has lost some of its value. About 2 months ago, it was almost 1 to 1, so 1.03. 1 euro would have costed you like $1.03. Now it's $1.18. Or if I inverse it, that $1 will buy you a 0.85 euros. You do not need to run after and get some euros before you travel. I'm sure most of you are experienced travelers, but you are going to a European country. Credit cards are widely accepted. All the hotels, all the supermarkets, anywhere that you go. But you may require some cash, for the tips, for petty, purchases like the pops of water and snacks. Water is portable, but if you still want to buy your water bottles, you can buy them. Or snacks or whatever that you want to buy. And you can easily withdraw the money that you require from a local ATM using your debit cards. And, there are plenty of, ATM machines are required, except that, I have a tip for you that do not do multiple transactions on ATMs, because every time you do a transaction, the local bank will charge you $3.50. And your bank back in the United States will charge you another $3 to $4. That means for every transaction, you are going to pay the fees of anywhere between $7 to $8. So do not do multiple transactions because you're losing money. Be smart, calculate what you need, and then withdraw the money that you require to withdraw for these small things that you need to do. The temperature, though you are traveling on February 24th, but you're coming back on March the 7th. Now March the 4th. So I've taken the average of, March. I've not taken the average of February. So we'll consider that whatever you're seeing here, -4 to 5 degrees. So the average in Lisbon in the month of March is 57. So we can consider -5 degrees, for this, for our purpose, because you will be going towards the end of February. So we can say about 51, 52 degrees, high of approximately 55, 56 degrees, low of approximately 46, 47 degrees, day temperature of approximately 51 degrees, and night temperature approximately 50 degrees. That is Portugal. That's Lisbon. Porto, being in the north, is slightly 2-3 degrees lower than this temperature over here. So again, you can deduct, about 5 degrees from all these over here is what is going to be. But for people from Missouri, I'm sure that you are pretty much used to temperatures much cooler than this. So this is kind of spring for you. Beautiful weather to go. Remember, Portugal becomes extremely hot. Southern Europe is becoming unbearably hot in the month of June, July, and August. So much so that people, have been running away from Italy last year because it has become so very hot and crowded with people. So nice month for you to travel to Portugal. Tipping, of course, it's optional. It's only our recommendation that you can give $5 to the driver per person on a daily basis. Local guides, you can give them at $10 per day of the sightseeing. Restaurant and cafes, if the service charge is not included, then you can tip anywhere between 8 to 10% of the check amount, depending on the quality of the service and whatever you want to do. Americans, you don't have to explain how to tip because it's part of our culture here. Food, Just to give you an example, a basic lunchtime menu that includes a drink in the business district costs you about 10 euros, which is about 11 US dollars. So it's cheaper than us, as a matter of fact. Combo meal in a fast food restaurant, for example, a Big Mac or something, about 6 euros, which is about seven, same as here. One cocktail drink in a downtown club, about 7 euros. Same here, a cappuccino in expat area, 2.5. That's much cheaper than us, you know. And for 3.5, you will be able to get a pastel also, along with the coffee of the cappuccino. A beer in a neighborhood pub, about 1.8, which is cheaper than here. You can shop a number of things, but as I've been talking to you, a lot of things which are made of the cork, as you can see the pictures over here, purses and, slippers and shoes, and then a lot of things which are made of the tiles over here. So you have a lot of local markets which you can go in your free time and you can visit. Or in some, for example, when you go to Obidos, for example, you'll see a lot of these shops around. So there are things, that you can buy, things like the pottery, tiles, hand embroidered, textiles. You can also find some very high quality leather goods in there. Of course, the wines like the port and whatever you want to bring, gourmet food products, cheeses, for example, sardines and all that. So it's a popular shopping destination, include the traditional markets, shops in historic city center, and also there are modern shopping centers. Your passport must be valid on March the 4th for 6 months. So, when you start making your bookings, please keep an eye on your passport. If your passport is expiring, before March the 6th or March the 10th, for example, then you will need to renew your passport. And passport is not taking a lot of time. So I would say that you should start, renewing a passport in the month of December, perhaps, so that, or even in the beginning of January, and your passport should be ready within, 2, 3 weeks. Even if you get it back through post office, it doesn't take you more than 3 weeks. Like I told you, visa is not required, but we are keeping an eye as ETA may be implemented. Travel insurance, I gave you whole information on that. There are no health concerns whatsoever at this point in time. And we also recommend, very highly recommend that, the group, if Scott is going or Wendy is going, that they create a group of everybody who is going on a trip. And then you include your driver, your guide, everybody. And then you are keeping a nice, group together, free messaging to each other, free calls to each other. You can even call, back home with a video call, show them what are you saying from a Wi-Fi environment. If somebody's missing in action, every group, there will be one or two people, who are always late to come to the coach. All that we can be, covered within WhatsApp group. We'll talk more about it when we do a pre-departure meeting. The voltage is 230, like everywhere in the world other than the United States and Canada. It's 230 voltage. Type is C, plug type, and F. So all you need is actually an adapter, because all our modern equipments today, so your smartphone, your book readers, your laptops, even your shavers, they all have dual voltage and they will adjust themselves between 230 and 110. You do not need an you do not need converter. All you need is a good adapter that will work with you. All the hotels will have hair dryers, so ladies do not need to worry about hair dryers. If you want to do the hair straighteners, then you need to read your hair straightener whether or not it's dual voltage. That is something you need to check yourself. If we continue with the Delta Air France flight, which I showed you, one piece of luggage at this point in time is allowed, which is 50 pounds or 23 kilos, one carry-on, one personal item. If you got yourself upgraded to business or premium economy, then your baggage allowance will change. I will show you now a short video. If you can, Scott, kindly put the volume up when I play this, though there's nothing much except, some commentary over here, but I'm going to play this video now for you.
I need to check.
It's woman of her.
And then there, security. Did they do?
T-shirt.
TA, Berlin. And
You just went there.
we don't have it, so
When you flew.
we did the channel. We did the channel. And we were in the train station in there. They passed on. Yeah, I don't think this is any part of what we're doing, is this? That's nothing that's on our list.
And it's easy to keep. It's on the-
Because we're not, well, maybe we'll go to these kind of towns, but we weren't gonna be
But
hiking
I
the
like
mountains.
that. It's nice.
Can you tell the guy that we can't hear? Maybe he can turn the volume up.
Might be able to hear it, like, you rewatch it, right? Probably didn't want to go, I know, just.
Oh, yeah.
Saeed, are you there? Can you hear us?
So are you talking to me?
Yes.
It froze on, the film just froze on our end. It stopped.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I will send this to you separately and you can share it with them, when later in the time, So I will send this to you along with the PDF, to your email and to Wendy's email. And then you can share the link along with the recording of this thing on your website if you like.
I would be happy to do that.
Okay, so I am done with my presentation, and now we can take any questions, whether people want to ask from the hall or if people want to ask the questions if they're online.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Will we have a tour guide that's with us the whole time?
Yeah,
There-
so what happens? Yeah,
Good.
so what happens is when you arrive at Lisbon airport, there will be somebody will come and receive you. He will take you to the hotel, will assist you in your check-in, and he will go home, come next day morning to take you on the city tour of Lisbon. When the city tour is done, he will bring you back to the hotel, he will go away, will come on the third day morning, and this time he will be an escort with you who will travel with you all the way to Porto until you come back to Lisbon. So your hotel guide your guide does not sleep in the hotel where you're going, except when you are traveling in the coach. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? So, and when you arrive, for example, at Batala, so this escort may not be an expert of Batala. So what happens that the local guide will come in Batala, in addition to your escort, he will show you Batala. If it takes an hour, for example, give you all the information on Batala, and then he will leave, and so on and so forth. So you have an escort when you're sitting in the coach, but when you are in the hotel, there is nobody who's sleeping with you.
Okay, so if the escort is with us for those couple days in Lisbon, when he leaves, is that when we tip him? Because I've been on some places where you have that guy the whole time and you tip him at the end, but you might not see him after a couple days.
Okay, so here's the answer to your question. Thank you, and it's a good question. I recommend that you find out from your guide, and usually the chamber representative is going with you. You find out from the guide, whether he's going to be the same person who's coming back tomorrow. Of course, a local guide who will come in Batala, for example, he's only coming for 1 hour. So, you need to tip him because you are not going to see that person again. But if the escort is going to stay with you, you can calculate. And instead of tipping individually, what I usually recommend that your tour leader, for example, if it's Wendy or it's Scott, take an envelope, put everybody's money together, and on the last day when you're saying goodbye to him, in front of everybody in the coach there, we thank you and we hand him over the envelope. That's the best way of doing it. So every time that you are going, you can find out, if this guy is going to be coming back again tomorrow, or is he going to you're not going to see him. Then depending on that, you can decide on the tipping. So, no need of going every single day and, tipping somebody, because you may see the same person the next day again. That makes sense?
Good.
All right.
All right. Anybody else have a question?
We had a question. We were kind of interested in going to see if you had anything that we could extend it maybe through you, or if we had to do it to ourselves. We wanted to go into Paris and into France. So this is.
So your person, the tour coordinator, his name is Aditya, and I'm going to send that information. When I'll send all this information, I'll send. He has a toll-free number and email address. Anything that you want to extend after this tour is departed, we can do it for you if you want to. And if you want to do it on your own, also be our guest. The only thing is we will tweak your flights. We'll not book you with the rest of the people. And we will book your flight according to when you want to come back. And of course, if you want us to do that rest of the tour coordinator will be more than happy. And that's what I presented, that we being a manageable company until now, you will be easily able to do all this with us. So you want to go to Spain or to France or wherever you want to go, we'll be happy to do it for you.
And how do I go about doing that? I go through the email?
Yes, the email or his toll-free number, which I will share by tomorrow. I am sitting in the East Coast time, so it'll not be tonight, but definitely tomorrow I will share all this information.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Any other questions? I guess that's it, Saeed. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you, Chamber. Thank you, folks. This is a beautiful tour, as you can see. And one more thing I'd like to, just before I go, it does not have to be from St. Charles area. You can have your people coming from Houston or from West Coast or from East Coast. People can join you. You can have people who can go only on land-only basis, for example, So if somebody is coming from Los Angeles, your family or friend, and if he does not want to buy the ticket from us, he can just come on the land-only basis. A price will be available, but they will be able to join you in the rest of the group, in the rest of the tour. It's an excellent price, and you can definitely compare this price to anything available in the marketplace, and you'll truly appreciate how nice is this price. So with this, thank you again, Scott. Thank you, the Chamber, and thank you all of you for attending the webinar. Yes, sir, you have a question?
Yeah, someone told me that it's rainy during that time. So is this going to be a rainy time?
It does not rain a lot in there. Because it's a coastal area. Let me Google this for you. What is the rain like? And it's a good question. I will just take about a second. 30 seconds. And February rains in Portugal.
Yeah, because our neighbor is studying there, and she said almost the whole month of January it was raining. And at the beginning of February, but she didn't think it was the end, but I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it is saying that you have about 8 to 11 rainy days in February. 8 to 11 days.
8 to 11
If you go to England, if you go to Scotland, you have 20 rainy days in any time of the year. So, all good. You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Thanks again, Saeed. We
Thank
appreciate
you so much. Okay, have a great night. Bye now.
it. Thanks.